Good morning, boys and girls. It is so good to be back with you today to do some second grade math. I am Miss Payne, and I'm excited to be here again today. Today, we are going to finish up our standard that we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks. We talked about addition with regrouping and subtraction with regrouping. So today, we will get to finish up that standard about subtraction with regrouping. And this is our I can statement. I can use strategies to subtract numbers within 1,000 and know when to borrow or when to regroup, because we have to do that sometimes when we're subtracting big numbers. So we will finish that up today. But before we get started, I want to do a riddle with you guys. So as I've been home a lot lately, we've all been kind of stuck in our houses. I've been seeing so many riddles come up that people are just trying to solve these riddles. So I thought we should do a riddle together. So if you have a piece of paper and a pencil right there, you might need it to write down these numbers. So let's think about what I'm about to say. So here's our first riddle. I am a three-digit number. Three-digit number. I have a 4 in my ones place. I have a 9 in my hundreds place. And I have a 2 in my tens place. What number am I? Let me say that again because you might need to write it down. I am a three-digit number. I have a 4 in my ones place, a 9 in my hundreds place, and a 2 in my tens place. What number am I? All right, think about that for a second, and let's see if you can come up with what number that is. All right, did you think about it? So let's write that down. So they have a 4. There's a 4 in the ones place. So let's put a 4. And then what digit was in the hundreds place? That's right, there was a 9 in the hundreds place. So I'm going to put my 9 over here in the hundreds place. Well, what digit was in the tens place? That's right, there was a 2 in the tens place. So what number am I? 924. Good job. All right, now this one's a little more difficult, so I want you to really listen and think about this one. We're going to do one more riddle. Sean formed a 2-digit number using magnets. Based on the clues given below, find the number. The ones place value is less than 2, but greater than 0. The tens place value is 8 more than the ones place. So let's think about that. If our ones place, so what number? He says the ones place value is less than 2, but greater than 1. What digit could that be? That's right, it's 1. There's only one option. So it's less than 2, but greater than 0. So that would be a 1 in the ones place. Now the tens place digit, the value is 8 more than the ones place. So what digit do you think is going to be in the tens place if it's 8 more than the ones place? That's right, it's a 9. So what is Sean's number? Sean's number is 91. Good job. All right, I just wanted to kind of get our brains going a little bit this morning before we got started. I hope you enjoyed those riddles. All right, so today we're going to start out with writing the missing numbers. So if we look right here, we have the number 413. 413. So let's think about how many hundreds, tens, and ones we have in the number 413. Let's see what's missing. So we have 4 hundreds, blank 10, and 3 ones. What is missing from that tens place? That's right, there is 1 10. But let's see, if we wanted to regroup, we could regroup that number and then we would end up with 4 hundreds. We would take that 1 10, remember we talk about our stick of 10? We would break that up and we would end up with 10 ones. So that means we would have how many ones in the ones place? 13 ones. Good. All right, then, what if we wanted to take 100? If we wanted to take one of these hundreds and break it up into tens, we could do that. We could say 300. If we broke this up, how many tens would we have? That's right, we would have 10 tens and 3 ones. So that's important to know as we start finishing up with our regrouping with subtraction today. All right, so on Monday, I left you with a problem. Did you try the problem on Monday? If you did, what strategy did you use? Let's look at that problem really quickly. Jim has 572 stamps. Leo has 347 stamps. How many more stamps does Jim have than Leo? All right, so what strategy did you use? We're going to solve this really quickly to see if you got the right answer. And we're going to use our picture strategy because I think that might be the quickest for us to finish this problem up today. So 572 minus 347. All right, so let's write our 500s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to use our sticks for our 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens, and then we have 2 ones. All right, remember, when we use the picture strategy, we take away this many. We are subtracting 347 from 572. So how many hundreds do we need to take away? That's right, we need to take away 3 hundreds. How many tens do we need to take away? All right, we need to take away 4 tens. How many ones do we need to take away? Oh, we need to take away 7 ones, but we don't have 7 ones. What do we need to do? We need to take that 10 right here, and we're going to break it up into ones. So now we have enough ones to subtract 7. So we're going to take away 7. 2, 4, 6, 7. So now what number do we have left? We have 2 hundreds, 2 tens, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. All right, we have 225. Is that the answer that you got when you solved this problem? Did you use the picture it strategy or did you use a different strategy? All right, good job. Okay, so today we are going to continue working on using our strategies. Let's recall some of those strategies that we used. We used the base 10 strategy, which is kind of like what we did here. Remember, we talked about how you probably don't have base 10 blocks at home, but we can draw our base 10 blocks, so it's like having them. We can use the open number line or expanded form, which is where we write out the values of the numbers, or we can use the open number line. All right, so we are going to solve a new problem today where we're going to have to regroup not with the tens, but we may have to break up 100 today. So let's look at this problem. At Brown School, there are 327 girls and 276 boys. How many more girls are there than boys? So let's think about our problem. What is the problem about? Well, it's about a school that has some students. They have some boys and they have some girls. What do they want to know? What are we trying to find out? We're trying to find out how many more girls there are than boys. How many more? So what information is important? Well, of course, it's important to know that there are 327 girls and 276 boys. Is it important for us to know what the name of the school is? No, probably not. But when we put that information in a problem or we see that information in a problem, it helps us kind of relate that because this is something that we might actually want to know about our own school. So this is something that at some time you may actually have to figure out. All right, so we know that there are 327 girls and 276 boys. So clearly there's more boys than girls, but we don't know how many. And that is what they need to know. So our problem would be 327 minus 276. A lot of times when you hear those words, how many more, a lot of times it's going to want you to subtract because you're trying to find the difference. You're comparing, you're finding the difference between two numbers when we say how many more. Because remember, the answer to a subtraction problem is called the difference. So if you ever see something that says find the difference, what do you know to do? That's right, you'll have to subtract. All right, so 327 minus 276. What strategy should we use? What do you think we should use? Well, I think since today is our last day of talking about subtraction with regrouping, let's start out with our base 10 blocks. So we want to build the bigger number. So we need to build the number 327. So we have how many hundreds? All right, good. There are 3 hundreds. How many tens do we need? We just need 2 tens. And then how many ones will we need? That's right, we need 7 ones. All right, so let's put our little tiny ones up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, these are stuck together. 5, 6, and 7. All right, so we have built our bigger number. 327 girls. Let's go ahead and write girls up here so we know this is the number of girls. All right, and in order to find the difference between boys and girls, we're going to have to subtract the amount of boys. So we remember this is how many boys there are. Okay, so we need to take away 276. All right, so I'm looking at my problem. Can you see what is going to be an issue? What's going to happen here when we start trying to take away some of our blocks? Well, I see I could take away 200s. That would be okay. But what about when we look here at the tens place? Am I going to be able to take away 7 tens? I'm not going to be able to do that because we only have 2 tens. So what do you think that we should do? What should we do to be able to subtract or to take away 7 tens? We are going to have to regroup. We're going to have to take one of our hundreds and break it apart. So what would we want to take this 100 and break it apart into? How many tens are in 100? That's right, there are 10 sticks of 10 in 100. So we would want to we're going to take this 100 out and we're going to break it up into tens. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's put this one up here. 9 and 10. So now we took that 100 out. We took the 100 out and we broke it up into 10 tens. Do we still have the same amount? Yes, it's still the same amount. We have 200, and then if we count all of these tens together, that's another 100, so that would be our 300, then 20, and then 7. So we did not change the value. We did not change the value. We just regrouped it to make it to where we would be able to take away those 7 tens. So now, looking at our problem, can we take away 276? We can. So let's start here and take away, let's see, we're going to take away 6 ones. So let's go ahead and start there. 2, 4, 6. So there's my 6 ones. We're going to take away 7 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Take away 7 tens, and then we take away how many hundreds? We take away 200s. We have no hundreds left. All right, so now we know the difference between the amount of boys and girls. We know how many more girls there are than boys. Let's see what we have left. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51. So the answer to the problem, the difference between 327 and 276 is 51. So now, can we answer that problem? How many more girls are there than boys? Yes, there are 51 more girls than there are boys. All right, so our base 10 strategy works very well. We can also do that by drawing a picture of those base 10 blocks. So you can look up here and see that we would be able to draw a picture if we needed to. We could just draw out. Now, are we going to draw every single little square? No, that would take forever. We're going to draw our squares for hundreds, our sticks for tens, and our dots for ones. So if we wanted to do the picture it strategy, we could totally draw that up here instead. So we just actually acted out this whole thing right here. We used base 10 blocks to solve that problem. All right, another way would be to use an open number line. Now, Number lines sometimes can be kind of tricky and confusing, but I think that using an open number line to solve problems like this has been actually pretty easy. What do you think? I think you guys have done a good job trying to use those open number lines. Sometimes we have to think a little harder when we're counting up by hundreds and tens, but it's a good strategy to use if you would like to practice it more. Okay, so remember, we have 327 and we want to take 276 away. So we're going to start out with 376. Oh, sorry, 327. 327. All right, so here's our number. Remember, we put our number here, and then we're going to take away 276. So remember, we back up on our number line. We're going to go backwards. So we're going to take away how many hundreds? 200. So we say minus 100, minus 100. So if we take away 100, it becomes 227. If we take away another 100, it becomes 127. See, that was pretty simple because the only digit that we're changing is the digit in the hundreds place. All right, how many tens do we need to take away? That's right, we have to take away 7 tens. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we could subtract 10. We're showing that we're taking away 10 each time. All right, so we've got to count backwards by tens. Now, this might be a little difficult, but I know you can do it. So we're changing only the tens digit right now. So this would be 117. Who knows what would come next? 107. And here's where it might get a little tricky because we're going to go into some two-digit numbers. Well, we know we can't really take anything else away, but what's that going to become? It's going to become a 9, that's right. So we would do 97, 87, 77, 67, 57. All right, so now we've taken away all of our tens. How many ones do we need to take away? 6, that's right. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to subtract 1 each time. It gets so small trying to write in there. And then we would count backwards. 56, 55, 54, 53, 52, 51. And did I get the same difference using the open number line as I got when I used the base 10 blocks? I did. I got the same answer. So that's what's important. We want to make sure that when we're using our strategies, we're getting the same answer every time. You could even use 2 different strategies to check your answers to make sure that you're answering the problem the correct way. So who likes the open number line strategy? I actually do, and for a long time I thought that I wouldn't like that strategy, but I actually think that that's a pretty good strategy to use. All right, so another way would be to compare those digits. Remember, on Monday when we showed comparing the digits, we're just looking to see basically when we compare the digits if we can do it. When we first started out, and I put the blocks up here, we knew that we could not take away 7 tens because 7 is bigger than 2. Well, you can't take away, if you only have 2 of something, can I take 7 away? No, if you only have 2 cookies, I can't take 7 cookies from you. So we have to figure out ways to change that. So it says compare the digits in each place in 327 and 276. Do you need to regroup to show more tens or more ones? What did we have to do? We had to regroup to show more tens. We needed some more tens. We didn't have enough to take away. Fill in the blanks to regroup 100 to show more tens in 327, which is what we did. So if we broke apart 327 in expanded form, it would be 300 plus 20 plus 7. Well, we knew we couldn't take 70 from 20, so we had to do something about that. So 327, so we have 200 plus 100 plus 20 plus 7, because we took that 300, we took one of those hundreds, and we broke that 100 up into 10 tens, which is the same as 100. And then if we put those two numbers together, we end up with 200 plus 120 plus 7, which is what happened when we had our base 10 blocks up here. We ended up with 120 in the tens place. How many hundreds, tens, and ones are there after you regroup? Well, let's fill in the boxes and then subtract. So this starts looking more like that standard algorithm. That's what we are going to learn in third grade. So, you guys are almost third graders. You only have about, 2 weeks, I think, left of second grade, and then you're going to be in third grade, and you're going to be doing all kind of big things with bigger numbers, and this is something that you're going to know and need to use when you go to third grade. So how many hundreds, tens, and ones are there after you regroup? Well, we took away 100, and we ended up with 200s. Then we added that 100 over here in our tens place, and we ended up with 120. So then we were able to take 70 away. So we ended up with 50 plus 1, which is 51. So that is another way, when you write out your numbers like that, it's another way to show how to solve the problem. All right, so we had another problem here. At Taylor School, students go to school for 180 days. They have already been in school for 136 days. How many school days are left? So what do we want to know from this problem? We know that they go to school for 180 days. They've already been in school for 136. So we would need to subtract. All right, we have a few minutes left. Let's get this one more problem done because we're about done with our subtraction. So if we wanted to find the difference, we do 180 minus 136. All right, what do you think the quickest way to do this is? All right, let's do a picture it. I think that might be the quickest way. So let's make 180. So we have 100, 8 tens. Oh, I wrote ones for tens. I'm silly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we have 0 ones. So we don't have to write any ones. All right, but we need to take away 136. Well, I don't have any ones. What do I need to do? That's right. I'm going to take this 10 and turn it into ones. Now I can take away those 6 ones. 2, 4, 6. And now I need to take away 3 tens. Oh, 3 tens. 1, 2, 3. And then I need to take away how many hundreds? 100. So let's see what we have left. 4 tens and 4 ones. So the answer would be 44. 44. All right, so picture it's a good, really quick way to solve a problem like that. So I hope that you guys have learned about all these different strategies. We will be moving on next week. I'm really excited about it. We're going to be doing some fun stuff with arrays and shapes next week because we have that one more standard left that we need to cover. So I hope you guys will come back and join us next week. So don't forget to be practicing these strategies using addition and subtraction. I had a good time learning with you guys this week, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you on Monday.